You're great.
You're great.
You're great.
You're great.
You're
Hey,
great.
Derek.
Are we gonna have nicknames for each other each episode?
You're
I think
great.
we should.
You're great.
I'm Underboob. That's the original. That's the OG. So you're Nev Nips. I'm
great.
Underboob.
Oh wait, let's not give away the studio production value we have here.
Pretty low.
You're probably going to sing anyway, so you might as well just use
That's
that
a
part,
good
you
point.
know? I'm a little upset that you think that's so funny.
Why?
Because I don't know how to do this podcast
You know-
unless we look into each other's eyes.
It's just the fucking generation jacking themselves up.
It's easy to hate something that's really
But
good.
everyone listening is cool, and all of the cool people are going to that show.
We should do. This is a positive podcast. That's what we're going for.
Yeah,
we're
that was, like, the difference.
People are gonna be like listening to this and like, it's so fucking happy.
Is the feel good movie review.
Eventually going to put out a CD just of Mike
Of me singing random songs.
Yeah, it's got a little tingly.
You got a little tingly?
Feel good. Right there.
Guys,
Turned down
I think,
for what?
I think that's turned down for Hug Life.
You're great.
You're great.
You're great.
You're great.
You're great.
You're great.
Andrew, you're great.
Thank you.
You're great, Andrew. You're really great.
You're right.
Have I told you how great you
You're
are
so
before,
correct.
Andrew?
Yeah.
Hey, Monica, what do you think of Andrew?
He's great.
You're great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, welcome to the Hug Life podcast. Andrew failed the test.
Andrew, you're the only person who's failed the test so far.
Usually
I picked up on the trend, and I just
Just want to be a rebel.
Yeah.
You
Give
wanted
a
to just
shit.
rebel against it? That's
Just-
fine.
I just
You know, that's what's
don't
great about you,
conform to
Andrew. You
society.
don't-
You're so great because you're just a you're a
Never
maverick.
give
You're a
it.
renegade. You don't give a shit.
What's great about you is you can take. You're just a wonderful person.
Oh, maybe he passed with flying
yeah,
colors.
he
Oh,
brought it back.
shit.
That was
Just
good.
when you think I wasn't gonna pass the test,
You passed that test.
come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's like.
But guess what?
What?
Monica's better.
Oh, podcast is over. Bye. Click. Welcome to the Hug Life podcast, everybody. I'm Monica Nevi,
And I'm Mike Coletta.
and Andrew Rivers is with us today,
Hello, I'm
Yay.
Andrew Rivers.
and it's really exciting. I'm really excited to have you on the show, Andrew.
Thank you so much.
How do you feel?
I feel great.
You should feel great because you
feel
are
great.
great.
Yes.
Thank you. Oh, wow. That's
Let's
funny.
plug our shows that we're in. Monica, would you like to start plugging shows?
Sure, yes. This comes out on Wednesday. So tonight
This will
I
come out on
have
Wednesday.
a show at the Comedy Underground in Seattle, a fundraiser show. And then the next weekend, so the 19th through the 21st, I'm featuring at the Seattle Comedy Underground for Gabriel Rutledge.
Yeah, Gabe.
Yeah.
Gabe's the best.
He's all right. Just kidding. He's great. Yeah. See what I did
Andrew,
there?
what shows do you have coming up?
Well, assuming you have a wide listener base all across America.
We do.
Oh, yeah, we
Yes,
do.
that's really true.
And
And if not, the people that do hear you that aren't there could be really
I'm
impressed.
just really impressed. Well, they won't be impressed with these gigs. I'm in Grants Pass, Oregon this weekend.
nice.
With who am I bringing? Oh, Todd Armstrong.
Todd
opening
Armstrong.
for me. And then next week, I think it's next week, I'm in Spokane opening for Taylor Williamson at the Bing Crosby Theater.
Ooh,
It's very fun.
Oh,
That's
fancy.
nice.
Yeah, a lot of AndrewJRivers.com/tour. There's so many dates to keep track
Look
of.
at his dates. Look at Andrew's dates.
Lot of stuff.
Okay.
I'm a big deal.
I just got done with.
I'm headlining Jazz Bones.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Tuesday, March 24th. That's it.
Okay.
Those are the local
Jazz Bones.
important.
Those are the
things.
dates. Tuesday, March 24th, and then go to
Upcoming
Spokane,
stuff.
and then go to Grants Pass, Oregon.
Yeah,
and
don't
do all
go
that
to
stuff.
It's not in that
Just
order.
kidding. Don't go. You don't have to
Well,
go.
you can. It's an 8-hour
That's where my
drive.
dad's from.
Yeah, it's a long drive, you guys. My next show that is not like booked is not until March 22nd, which is funny, and it's Battle of the Sexes at Tacoma Comedy Club.
Yay.
And I always plug
I'll
that
be
show
there
because
too.
Monica will be on it, and it's a fun show. And I just got done with a bunch of shows, so I'm going on a little break, and I'm going to do mics and relax and have fun in Seattle. So that's what I'm going to do.
You can write some new jokes.
I'm going to try to write some new jokes. Actually, seriously.
That's very excited. I heard Monica had new jokes, and I got excited.
Monica, what's your new joke? Tell it for us on the podcast right now because it's not awkward at all.
No. You missed it because you were in Kentucky.
I liked
Louisville.
What's interesting to me is you did the joke about you're not supposed to tell kids they're smart anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so funny. I had been working on the same premise because I'm nerdy into that brain stuff. You do it because you teach kids or whatever.
Right, yeah,
but,
they actually told us.
Andrew did it because he stole it from
I just
you.
like to do... No, but I was a dumb... Mine was a bad... It was about... That's why I'm so smart, because when I was growing up, my dad always told me I was an idiot. And so... Pause for laughter.
Pause for laughter.
Mike just looked really concerned.
Yeah.
He's like, he did.
He
Oh
did?
my God,
What?
I'm so sorry.
No.
How
You're
would he
great.
do that
I just
to
figured
you?
that he's super nice.
He is really nice. He was
Alright.
really cool. He gave us a podcast idea.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we talked about it a couple. He was the one that sent me the thing about the professional cuddlers. Your dad emailed that to me.
Oh, really?
That's
yeah, he's
awesome.
really
So
nice.
cool.
He's a really nice dude.
You should have him on your podcast.
I should.
Yeah.
Bob, where are you? He actually made fun of the medium of podcasts
Yeah,
when I
yeah,
mentioned
yeah.
it. And
Right.
I'm like, yeah, Bob, you want to be on? You want to be on that thing that you don't?
The
that doesn't
thing
make
that I
any money?
have.
That's very funny.
Bob's great. Rate and review the podcast on iTunes. Also subscribe. That would be cool. We're also on Stitcher, so you can catch that on Android apps. I'm trying to talk slower so you actually know what I'm saying. Also, like the Facebook group, and I am on Twitter at @mecoletta.
And I'm at Monica Nevi.
Andrew J. Rivers.
And there you go. That's it. That's all the plugs we had to
Oh,
do.
awesome.
We got rid of it, and we got rid of it in 4 minutes and 30
Time to
seconds.
unplug.
Pretty good.
Time to unplug those plugs. And Monica, how was your weekend?
It was good. I don't remember.
Because we had a great show. We had a great show that happened this weekend.
Yes, Seattle Super Secret Stand-Up Show.
Tell everyone.
It was great. I don't know. I was worried about it because it was the second one.
And because Andrew Rivers
And
was
'cause
there.
Andrew Rivers.
And he's a renegade, and he doesn't
Yeah.
like people, and he doesn't
Give a
tell them they're
shit.
wonderful.
What?
He does.
Okay.
Okay.
And it went really well. I'm happy with how it went. And I had a show before that was great. Market Theater was sold out. What up?
Whoop,
And it was
whoop, whoop, whoop.
really fun. So
Boop, 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 boop. That's cool.
Yeah.
Andrew, did you like the Super Secret Stand-Up Show?
I did.
Did you like the atmosphere?
Yeah, it was cool. I hadn't been to that space before, and it's interesting. And I liked it. I don't know what to expect when it's like a theater, and I'm like, oh, they're gonna fill a theater or whatever.
So
it's a little
would
baby
you
theater.
say it's the best comedy show you've ever done behind a
midnight?
thrift stop?
Thrift shop?
Yeah,
You think so?
sure.
Did you pop
It's
some tags
up
while you were there?
It's up there. Yeah.
it's up there.
I
It's
should have
up
brought it in my fur
by
coat
thrift
and
shop.
I did
showed
this-
them.
I
but-
did this-
Probably could have borrowed one.
I know, right?
I did a Salvation Army gig in Cle Elum that was way better.
You know what? That's actually, you can ask Gabe about this. We did a theater in Montana, and the guy had us. It was also in the back of it was like a theater that was in the back of a thrift shop or something like so it's technically
In Montana?
It's in a
Did you
flea
do that?
market.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
With the best comedy condo
Yeah,
ever.
yeah.
I heard about this.
Has
it
a
had like a
pool.
pool. Yeah, and there was a
So
bunch of
I'm no
stuff.
stranger to backroom flea
That's
market.
true.
gigs.
I was supposed to
I
do
have
that, and then
actually done
they
that
canceled that show. It's a bummer.
I headlined.
But you guys, I know you guys
Really?
did.
Headliner had to cancel, and I was like, sure, let's just do this.
That's
But I heard it. Yeah, everyone that's gone and done that has told me how awesome it was. And like, I came back with a bunch of free stuff because the guy just has a bunch of
He's
free
like,
stuff.
take whatever you want.
Yeah, he's like, you want a snowboard? Here you go.
Right. Tyler Smith was with me, and we followed that guy to another like storage closet because that's why he has all that shit. You know, like Storage
Mm-hmm.
Wars or whatever. He buys storage closets that people, I don't know, whatever, can't pay for. And so we followed him to one of those just so Tyler could get a snowboard, and he got batarangs, which were pretty.
I
badass,
heard about
right?
that. I would do anything for a batarang. I have a batarang, actually.
What'd you do for him?
What would I do for a batarang?
What'd you
Thanks,
do
we
to
can't-
get it?
We'll turn the mic off.
I'll
for
do
that.
anything for a batarang.
Anything for you.
I'll do
That
anything
actually-
for batarangs. It's my new hit single. Did you know that? I was in Louisville,
New hit
Kentucky,
single?
part of the weekend, not all of it, because
Oh, yeah.
things changed and winter storms came. And I was funny because I got on the plane in Seattle, and I'm like, my friend texted me right before saying, "Hey, just so you know, the weather's kind of crazy in Louisville right now, so your flight might get delayed or anything." I'm like, I've never had a delayed flight; it's gonna be fine. And then I get off the plane in Minneapolis, and it just says canceled. And so it was canceled that night. I got a hotel that was awesome, and I ate pizza in bed, and then not the sleeping bed, the eating bed, because I had two. And then my flight in the morning got canceled, and then I finally got there really late at night at
So
5.
you had to miss one of the
I missed
shows.
the Thursday show because of that, which was kind of a bummer. As in, it was a bummer because I was really excited.
Kind of a bummer. I mean,
kind of a bummer.
Exactly.
But it's a really big bummer. It was fun though. Like I had a really good time. The city of Louisville is really cool. My friends live They live in an area of town called Butchertown.
Why
And
is it called that?
it's because there's a slaughterhouse like 3 blocks from their house,
Ah.
and I got to smell that for the first time. And I can tell you, I was missing paper mills in Washington because slaughterhouse 20 times worse. It was pretty bad. It's like it's bad, and it's tolerable once you live there. I feel like just like paper mills are, but I was kind of just like, this is weird. smell. Mad props to Star and Jesse for letting me stay at their house. They listen to the podcast.
Star and Jesse.
Jesse.
That's a great team.
It's
right
a great
there.
team. They're killing it, doing theater stuff.
Ooh, yeah.
They do theater stuff.
Sure.
Now, let's just talk about them for 40 minutes. Sorry, Andrew. And so Star and
Hi,
Jesse.
Star Jesse.
But the
Star
weekend-
and Jesse are the stars of this podcast.
Ooh. But the weekend was really fun, and the coolest thing that happened while I was stuck at the airport is I unknowingly sat across from Neil deGrasse Tyson for 3 hours and had no idea. I didn't realize he was there, and then when I realized he was there for another hour and a half, I kind of freaked out a little bit. And
Did you
then
not say anything?
I didn't
On
say
your
anything because
flight?
I watched people come up to him. No, he was sitting at the internet place with me, and he was eating Chinese food while I was eating McDonald's. So we bonded over that. I shared a meal with him, and
Did
then
you actually bond or like
we didn't talk. I was terrified.
You felt like you were connected
I
just
was-
because
yeah,
he was
he was
eating at
there.
the same time
yeah,
as you?
yeah, that's
You should
exactly
just
how
Pretty
it
much all
was.
it
You should
takes.
just ponder a math equation out loud.
Well, you know, well, I was wanting to talk.
If Z equals Y, like what? And
What?
then he's like, actually, it's the root of all evil.
I should just be like, "Hey, yo, physics, right? It's the root of all evil."
It's the square root of all
Take
evil.
your
What's
time.
the square root of all evil? I'm Andrew Rivers, mathematician.
Take your time. Take your time with these jokes.
Math magician.
But what's weird is I would because my whole thing
Math
was
magician.
a math
I
magician.
don't want that to go unnoticed.
No, it was so
I'm
stupid
gonna
that I
tell
couldn't
Neil
start.
that, like, yo, Neil, you're a mathematician. I'll see myself out. I'll see you later. I'm not even catching a flight anymore. I'm just driving back to Seattle.
Actually, wasn't catching a flight this whole time, just hanging out in the
Just
airport.
hanging out with you. Just eating McDonald's. My favorite McDonald's is the airport one. So I like to pay like $4 more. So, but yeah, I would just watch people go up to him though and ask. I think a couple of people asked for pictures and he politely declined because he was flying. So he was just like sitting there like, I don't want to be in a picture right now. And I was like, saw that happen a bunch of times and it never ended awkward.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just not going to say anything to him. And then when he got up, we made eye contact and I just like waved happily goodbye because I knew who he was. I was like, see you later. And he just put his sunglasses on and like nodded at me like CSI Miami style and then walked away. And I'm like, that was double awkward, but way cooler. 'Cause, you know,
He's like, you're on a
remember you
list.
Yeah. But,
Walks out.
I'm like, who wears sunglasses in an airport? That's what I thought 5 minutes later. But I'm like, he probably doesn't want to be seen by anyone. But
That's it's like headphones. I don't, you don't want people talking to you.
yeah, it's a
Just-
deterrent.
You just
Right, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
I've definitely left my headphones in on a bus before when my battery died on my phone, just because
Yeah.
I knew it would make it so people didn't talk to me. It's a strategy.
Yeah.
I just, what I do, and
I just
think this
avoid
is very
buses.
effective. I just look like a bitch.
Yeah.
Just like I have resting. Do you have resting bitch face? I
do.
think I have resting
It's
bitch
just a
face.
natural thing.
I have resting. Do you have a resting bitch face? Show me. No, you have a resting scared
No.
face. You know what's great? Visual gags on a podcast.
You do look kind of scared.
Resting.
Are
Aw.
you resting? It looks like you're
I don't know.
very tense.
You're
I
very
don't know.
timid. He has a resting timid face.
Sure.
Andrew, let's talk about you.
Okay.
You do road comedy.
Yes.
How's that different than normal comedy?
There are several. What's the Venn diagram?
The Venn diagram?
There are many things that are similar. It's comedy in places. You try to treat them all the same. You just did some road comedy in Louisville,
I
technically.
did, yeah, technically.
But that's somebody's home.
That's a
so
club,
It's
yeah.
weird, right?
Do you think a club's different than just like road comedy one-nighters?
Yeah. I mean, any building that has comedy on the side of it, you know what I mean?
Is a good thing.
That's a good start.
Yeah. You sleep in your car a lot.
I've done that, yeah. But some, it's the road, it's magical, and it's, I don't know. People always ask, that's the number one question is like people just, when you do road comedy, people just email you on Facebook and go, how's the road? And I'm like, what? I'm not slaying dragons. It's
Not
it's
Cormac
just comedy.
McCarthy
You don't have to,
post-apocalyptic
like-
bullshit.
It's amazing and it's depressing and it's tough, but you're traveling. It's not even so much the comedy. It's just the traveling and, and the
Yeah.
other stuff and the bad pay.
Because
and-
I was staying with my friends and it made it a lot better. Like, and I was thinking about like when I was in Louisville, if I didn't have friends to hang out with, and if I was just sitting in a hotel all day, how depressing that could get. And you gotta like fight it with things. Like when I've done like Mitch and I go frisbee golfing. Like when we did that made it so
we
much
do,
better.
yeah.
But you gotta do stuff. That's
Sure.
the way to because I don't know. I can't sit in my hotel room all
Yeah.
day.
yeah,
I could, but I shouldn't.
sure.
Do
Yeah.
you do stuff on the road? Like, would you go to museums and stuff, or do you go?
No, not
Bowling?
really. I
Darts?
don't.
Money
I don't-
thing
It's
involved
a money
in that
thing.
too.
Yeah.
That's true. Free
It's,
activity, frisbee golf, free activity.
Yeah, it's generally
Hiking.
Strip clubs.
Strip clubs are free.
generally. I've done. You know
You're the
what?
stripper.
I've done that too, and it's not. It never ends well.
No.
You don't like strip clubs? That's a common theme on
I
this
don't
podcast.
like
How
them
dare you?
even necessarily, but even in general, I guess if I had money to throw at people, I'd be like, sure, whatever. But I just don't see the point of that. And then I've done it in different states, and I'm like, you're not even like
stripping or comedy.
Well, both.
You've done it personally, or you've been to strip clubs?
I've been to strip clubs in other states, and it's not. I don't know. Maybe I'm biased.
No, it's true. It's definitely
just like South Dakota. It's like why? What?
They have those
nothing.
there.
Yeah,
that's all they have there.
That's a funny. This is
Just
probably
kidding, South
the
Dakota.
first.
You're great.
Let's see this first road story. I was going out with Susan Jones, very funny comedian.
They were dating
from Seattle. We were on tour as the number 10 because she's round and I'm not. So visual gags on a podcast.
Pew, pew, pew.
So
that was finger guns.
So we were doing a thing in South Dakota, and then they took. She was friends with like the manager of this one nighter we were doing, and he thought it'd be hilarious. Well, we'll take him to the strip club, and that'll be fun. And
wait,
then,
did Susan go with you to the strip
No,
club?
she didn't. But she just let me go with these people. You're in good hands, I think. And
I think
so. They're like, "Oh, we're gonna give you a special dance or whatever," and they call it. It's a hostage dance.
What? That sounds terrible.
That sounds really terrifying.
Yeah, it's not.
Maybe that's why you have a resting scared face.
Yeah.
Just like at any point,
nightmares.
PTSD hostage dance
very
face.
Scary. They tie or maybe they handcuff me. I don't know.
What?
They tie you up to a chair and they put you on stage, and then the strippers take turns like jumping on you.
I'm gonna let you know that Monica is holding herself right now out of fear.
And
I was like
claustrophobic, and if I can't move things, I kind of freak out. So
I was kind of like, I was not sure. I was like, is this supposed to be turning me on? Because it's not, and I was not sure what I'm supposed to do in that
and
situation.
you're like, yeah, it's supposed to turn you on.
So like people are like jumping on you, and I was like, that's not fun, you know.
That's not fun.
I got
so
okay.
That's the thing. So it's like all this first rule of road comedy is like, don't go places with weird people because you never know what's gonna end up.
How do you not do that?
Yeah, I mean, my
on the
thought
road.
is like we're going on an adventure and we're going to see where
Sure.
this takes us. But adventures can also end with dying.
But if it was
you're
like,
in a weird place, you don't know where you're going. Sometimes they're getting drunk, and then you don't have a ride, and then you're driving with these idiots drunk. I don't know. That's just
Small towns. Do you think are scarier?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry,
I like big cities. There's
Yeah.
like
Louisville felt nice.
Help you better cell phone reception and
There's
yeah,
help,
you're
there's
guaranteed
witnesses,
cell
but
phone
yeah.
reception. That's a good point,
I like
Monica.
cities because there's witnesses.
yeah.
But if like
Help! It reverberates off the building. People know.
Echoes louder.
if we were on the road together and then went with weird people, that's different than being by yourself
Yeah,
and going
that's
with weird
true.
people. I think that.
I mean, some people only do that, and they're like, oh, that's their whole act, and they have weird stories from every city they go to. I don't want to be that guy. I've had too many.
I got in this person's van one time to smoke pot in Medford, Oregon. And I was not prepared for when we were actually in the van. Like, it sounded like such a great idea outside the van. And then you get in the van and you're like, this just got...
If any story starts
don't
with
know.
"I got in this van," it's not gonna end well.
I thought it was
Oh,
cool.
Red so totally get in your
Those
van.
are the people I gave back the pot to, by the way, because
Yeah.
I was nervous.
Dude,
I'm the only
Medford's
comic to
got
ever give
some-
back weed on the road.
Medford's got some weird parking lot stuff going on.
Yeah,
Took
well
shots
lit.
at Fireball with a lady
Yeah,
named
but
Pam.
and then you don't know what kind of weed they smoke, and if it's different from what you're normally doing. I just don't trust it.
It was really strong, and they
Yeah.
grew it
See,
You
themselves.
don't
don't-
smoke very
I
often.
just don't trust people.
Smoke weed once a year.
It's a remix.
Excellent.
So you entered the strip club. You got a bad dance,
Yeah,
and it's just like it's just,
that's really.
That's
they
really-
jumped on you and I
They-
was like,
hostage dance?
Yeah,
Like
so
it's
it's called a hostage
When
dance.
Sounds
when
like
I
poor
got my
marketing.
yeah, that's not a good idea.
The fun happy time
Slap
dance.
the
Yeah.
shit out of you.
Pillow time friendship dance. That's the best kind of dance. Oh, you shouldn't include the word friendship though, because these guys probably think they could date the strippers.
Yeah, you just friend
They'd
zoned
probably go
immediately
for
by
it,
a
yeah.
stripper.
The friend zone dance.
friendship
I do the
dance.
friend zone dance
I don't know what
every
that
day.
It's 5 feet away from you with another guy.
And they say, "You want to go get pizza later? No sex, just pizza."
You have to save her from dancing on
Yeah,
that guy.
yeah.
That's what it is.
Hey, don't be
Don't
mean.
dance on that guy, because you know who you really love. And then you point to yourself a bunch, and then she walks away. Friend zone dance. My first lap dance was really bad. It was really bad. My first lap dance was like that. It wasn't hostage wise, but it was a lot of bouncing and to the point where it hurt my legs and my pelvis.
Right.
And I'm like, this is not good, Paige. You're not doing very well at all. It did not hurt.
Paige.
Her name was Paige. I have a joke about this, and it's not. I'm not gonna tell the joke, but it hurt. Like I was like sitting there, I'm like, you did not
Sounds
do a good
painful.
job.
Yeah.
It was not fun. And then I got a real one, and it felt way dirtier, and I didn't know how to feel afterward.
You're like, none of this hurts. I
None
don't
of
know
this
how to
hurts, and I
feel.
don't know how to
Hurts in a good way.
Because I'm crying. That's how I do
I'm
laugh
crying
dances.
for you.
I'm crying because you're doing such a good job.
I'm crying thinking about your future.
Your future.
I'm crying thinking about your father.
That's a better joke.
This is the darkest episode yet.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking, okay, what other? You have another road story that you told me. But
Oh,
We have to talk about
We can-
strippers.
yeah.
No, we
Well,
weeded
this
some.
is related.
We always talk about strippers, but we weeded some. Weeded? That's the wrong word. We talked about some road stuff that Andrew was going to talk about, and I got really excited.
Oh
for the
yeah,
one.
there's a couple
Okay.
stories.
There's a couple that I'm
there's
really
one
excited
story
for.
that I tell on every podcast. There's one that is pretty recent. A person who shall not be named.
Monica Nevi.
Yes,
Voldemort.
it was with Monica. This story will make sense if you plug Monica into unnamed
It
person.
won't or it will.
It will.
Kinda?
Totally, maybe. I don't know. You be the judge.
Okay.
Works now.
So I was on the road. I was bringing a friend with me to open, and he's very confident with girls, and I'm not. But that's fine. And
Why are you
so,
describing me?
but I. Well, sorry.
I'm not
I was
the
trying to-
person.
Mike says,
It's
ladies,
totally
man.
Well, this is the thing, and he we have different tastes. This is I go on the road. I'm working kind of. I don't unless it's a great offer nowadays. I don't follow. I don't chase girls.
What's
I
a
don't-
great offer? Like, what's
This
a great
is-
offer?
this is-
Like, pretty
all
girl
right,
and
yes.
nice?
She's like,
Okay.
I'm pretty and I'll do your taxes.
yeah.
What's your
I'll do your taxes.
This sounds
It's a
this is
great
terrible.
offer.
This is a
Well, that's a
terrible.
really good deal.
This is a terrible joke that it never worked on stage, and a comic told me never to tell it again because it's not a bad.
Yeah, tell it now.
It's a funny joke. It's funny. I really like it, but it's degrading a little bit. It's like there's a certain group of women that find me irresistible. They're called sixes, which is hilarious. It's really funny. But you give women a number, people don't like that. And next thing you know, I'm the next Aaron Kirby on Facebook, and people are calling me.
Shots fired.
So,
Bang, bang, bang.
anyway,
On
so
target.
that's the thing. So if it's a really attractive girl. Yeah, I'll follow that up.
And she
see
works
what-
at
and
H&R
she's
Block?
interested, or at least being nice, then I'm like, oh, I'll go to the bar. You know what I mean? That's the thing. Is sometimes people are like, we're going to this bar to hang out. And I'm like, no, I don't care. And if there's a pretty girl and she's like, hey, we're going to go. I don't want to like insert myself and be like, where are you guys going?
Where you guys
How's it going?
Dude,
What's going on, you
I've
know?
seen comics do that, and it's the worst.
Yeah.
Like when the girls are like, "Say good job," but the comic keeps pushing, and it's
Yeah.
the most awkward thing in the fucking world.
You don't have to mention me.
I didn't mention you. It wasn't you. I remember this. It was
Okay.
just someone that came to a club one time, and I didn't know him very well, and I'm like, oh, they don't want you involved in
Yeah.
this at all.
So that's the thing. So you get a decent enough art. This guy was, or lady, Monica.
Or me.
So Monica was
Ladies,
out.
man.
We were at this club, and Monica sees these girls that she
Super
likes.
good with the ladies.
and super into the
Monica's crushing it with the ladies.
ladies. So they are a little older, like mid 40s, I think, and
Perfect.
The ladies?
yes, and
They could
that's
do your
Monica's
taxes.
type. They will totally do
They
my
worked at
taxes.
H&R Block, and they...
So Monica goes up to these girls. I'm going to keep saying Monica's name.
Let's all be clear that it's not really me.
It's not
okay?
actually
All right,
Monica.
good.
Totally Monica.
So Monica goes up to these. As soon as they walk in, she's like, "Those are my type, right there, dark hair, whatever." And I'm like, "All right." And he goes.
What
up,
was her type? Dark hair and
dark hair and light eyes,
light eyes?
Middle-aged women.
middle-aged
Okay.
women. I
Like,
guess
like white eyes?
no,
like they're blind?
yeah,
Legally blind women?
it was
They look
Vin
like
Diesel
cats.
in Pitch Black.
Kitty cat ladies?
So
Vin Diesel and Pitch Black? Solid
Yeah.
nerd reference
Thank
coming
you.
from Andrew's
You're
corner
welcome.
right now.
I got a couple. I used to play StarCraft in high school. You want to talk about that?
Dude, we can talk about that and then just watch Monica slowly leave.
No, I haven't used the restroom yet. Go ahead.
Why are all the girls leaving?
This is like high school.
It's like high school all over again.
Why are all the girl leaving?
So
just one.
just one. So whatever. So after the show, Monica goes up to this girl, starts hitting on her, and goes, "Oh, let me get your number, and where are you guys going?" They're like, "We're going to this bar," and so I'm like, "I guess I'm going to this bar," So we go out to this bar, and we're having a fun time, and we're just hanging out. Some other people came from the show, like this guest set comic, and then this other couple, I guess, that was there on a date and decided to be friends. Is your dishwasher peeing?
No, that sound we just heard, I believe, is my landlord cutting hair downstairs and running her sink. So someone's getting a shampoo done right now.
Got it. Jacuzzi Susie.
Jacuzzi Susie.
So Monica, me, and some other people are at this bar. Monica and the girl that she has her eye on. This is getting really fun.
Yeah.
Monica, you saucy minx.
So they're like
Close the deal here.
They're being really
Close
flirty
it.
and doing a great job. I'm being nice because I don't
Doing a
have
great job.
I don't have interest. I just don't have interest in this particular lady. She's a nice lady, but she's old, and I'm not really into that. She's at
How old is
least
she?
45. I'm guessing older because I swear it looked like she had like plastic surgery.
Because she was
done.
wearing a shirt that was
I
like
don't know.
an
I don't know. Bad guessing, maybe. But I know at least. I think the other girl said that she was like 39 or something like that, and I was like, we'll see. But they both had kids and were divorced and whatever. And so then things are kind of getting awkward because they're being cuddly, Monica and this other girl.
Monica.
And I'm just keeping a respectful distance and like chatting with
You're
the
a
girl,
very
trying to be very
respectful man,
nice.
yeah.
I'm trying to be nice, and but I don't want Monica to not get some, so you got to play the wingman.
Well, you got to make sure Monica gets some.
Yeah, Monica's angry.
That is the
You
most
wouldn't like
important
me when I
part of
don't
every
get some.
story. Is that
Monica's
Monica
got to
gets
get
some.
By the way, the new rule on podcasts is we're always making Monica the person in the story because this is amazing.
It's perfect. You wouldn't like me when I don't get some. There's a Monica
Because I turn into an old man.
Yeah.
The old green man.
But then this girl that is talking to me kind of goes, "All right, let's just cut the shit." She goes, "What's going on?" Because they're getting close, and I'm like, she goes, "I don't want to get a lawsuit or she's like, I don't want to get arrested." She's like trying to make a joke about how we're not the same age, and I'm like, yeah, that's fine, you know. She's like, I don't want to get arrested if things go further, and I was like, we don't have to take this any further. I was trying to be like,
You're
oh,
nicing
I
your way out of
understand
it.
if you don't want to get together. I totally appreciate. I have a respectful and like it's her idea, and I'm like, yes, that was my idea the whole time. You know? But then Monica, and then they continue the conversation. They're like, they're trying to leave the bar, and they're like, well, we can go back to my place and.
Monica's place?
No, not Monica's place.
One of the
I bought
ladies'
Monica.
places.
Monica and I had a hotel, 2 separate hotels, but we were at the same place. And
Joint rooms?
No,
The door?
different. We were across the hall.
It's my favorite.
But so then we go to this girl's house, the girl that is talking to me,
Nice.
and so we're hanging out there for a minute, and then Monica and her lady come with alcohol, and we all have drinks, and I'm
heating
slowly sipping on one beer, Shock Tops, and
Classy beer.
yeah, and they kind of wander around, and then I'm trying to like play both sides of the fence, where I'm like, you gotta not make this weird, but I don't want to get raped, and so like. I sit down on the couch next to the girl, and we're like having a conversation. I'm close, and I'm being kind of flirty, like enough. It's a very tricky situation I'm in.
You're
Because
dancing
if I
on
cut this
hot
off early,
coals
and
here.
I'm like, Monica, we gotta leave. Then Monica doesn't get any,
And then Monica's
then
really
Monica's
upset about
angry
that.
at me
Yeah.
for the rest of the weekend. So
And Monica won't invite you to
really
do the
hold
podcast.
grudges.
So
really
then
hold
Monica
grudges.
walks in with her girl, and they are like, they see me next to this girl, and they're like, "Oh, we're interrupting," and I'm like, "No, please come in,
please come in here.
Go, continue, go." So they leave, and they go downstairs to the other
The
rooms.
bone zone.
Yeah, and yeah. I'm
bone zone
thinking,
noise.
I'm thinking like, oh, I just gotta stall for like 20 to 30 minutes, and then Monica will come back up and be done
And last
with that.
way longer than
Yeah,
that. No.
tell me about it. I'm thinking 20, 30 minutes. Things get crazy. This woman starts talking to me about like 50 Shades of Grey and like all this.
So she's tying
old
you up.
lady stuff. And
Old lady.
She gave you a hostage
and
dance.
she's getting So then I'm callback. So I'm tied to the chair, and she's jumping on me, and I'm like, "You're heavy." So let's see. So then she kind of like she goes, you know what? We should just make out and get it over with because then we'll know if there's any. And I'm thinking like,
Ooh, did you make out with
Yes.
it? Yeah.
so I think in my
Cue
head
Top
I'm like,
Gun theme song.
I'm like, it hasn't enough time passed for me to say no, so we got to keep things going. But I can keep pausing from there, whatever. And that'll also build anticipation or whatever. But because
Really calculating this.
Yeah.
a part of me is like, hey, I'm not opposed to being liked and wanted by a lady. So
Wait, at this point, how long have I been downstairs? Has
like
Monica been?
15
Monica doesn't
minutes.
recall.
Monica's
15
down there
okay.
maybe 15
okay,
minutes.
So
And so we make out and we kind of flirt a little bit here and there, and then
Then you started talking about her kids.
yeah, she's got photos of her kids, and I'm like, now I'm turned on, you know. And,
they're your age.
yeah,
like-
literally, I think was like
They're also trying stand-up comedy.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
really weird. It's really weird.
And they did the guest set. Just trying to take it one further. So then finally, like, I mean, we're making out here and there, and she's like, I wish you weren't such a good kisser. And I'm like, that's whatever, you're hammered.
Good for
she
you.
keeps drinking a ton. She's doing wine, drinking glasses, I forget.
Do you
And I'm
think?
like, yeah, keep
do you
getting
think
hammered.
as she's drinking, you look older?
I don't know.
what she's thinking in
I have
her
no idea. But she keeps going like, I love the Scandinavian heritage.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, which is funny because I don't
Just
know.
Super racist.
I don't know anything about that stuff. Like, I get comics are popular. Like, this is a popular joke is to be like, I'm half this and half this, so this is my stereotype, and like, and people make religion. I am so naive about all that stuff. So like, I have no idea what my heritage is. I have no, so like, blonde hair, blue eyes. I'm just like, oh, I guess that's Scandinavian thing. I guess I don't know. She just keeps. Oh, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, whatever. So
the
for a
noises
while,
she made when she was like,
yeah, she's-
rah, rah,
that's,
rah,
how,
rah.
that's how I kiss. Is that right, guys? So whatever. So it's been, I don't know, maybe 40 minutes, and I sneak downstairs to try and see where things are at.
Try and jump in.
And I hear, yeah, hey Monica, can I come in? So I hear, some humping and. Really jealous at the stamina.
Some humping.
Some humping. So I go back upstairs, and I'm like, I gotta stall for a while longer. So we're making out. She keeps trying to go for the pants, and I'm kind of trying to stop her. And then
Kind of try. I like
I mean,
how you're just
you know
like,
what?
oh,
I'm the
kind
good
of,
guy in this
oh,
situation.
no.
Very innocent. I did not lead this lady on at all. So. I don't. Then so we like. There was a point where we just stopped like making out and we just like talking more. And I'm trying to like tell me about what. And she's like, tell me about how you got into stand up. And I'm like, perfect. This is a long story. We can talk about this for 20 minutes. And we talk about different stuff. And I'm like, I sneak downstairs again, still boning.
Still humping
Monica's
sounds.
going crazy.
Monica's just going
Monica
at it.
is going to town. So we she starts getting aggressive and like I'm standing up and we're kind of like walking. I'm like walking away from her because she's like it's almost like she's
chasing
It's a
you?
very slow motion chase. It's a very slow chase around the kitchen counter.
I'm gonna get some water, and then I need to look in this cabinet, and then she's just
So, like,
following. you.
And I don't know. So whatever. That happens for like an hour and a half, maybe.
Hour and a half of slow chasing.
And I guess the funniest thing is one time I went down there and I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear beds shaking, and I was like, oh, maybe they're done. And so I kind of like got closer to the door, and I heard Monica whispering things like, oh, you're so tight. And I was like, oh, my God. And so then
This is getting so like
things are getting
dirty,
crazy.
and I
This
love
girl
it.
is she's over the top drunk now. She's like starting to pass out and starting to be like, and she's starting to get sad and be like, am I just not a good kisser? And like, what's the man? And I'm like, oh no, we gotta go soon, So I go down and
Code red.
and fucking go. So I go down. Monica's done banging. From what I can hear, I put my ear up. I don't hear any sweet nothings.
Like you put an ear to the
yeah.
shell and you hear an ocean.
Yeah. So I knock on the door and I hear, So Monica comes to the door, and she cracks it open, and she goes, "Oh, sorry, we fell asleep." And I'm like, or no, she doesn't say that. I'm gonna ruin this punchline. So she goes, "Oh," I'm like, "Hey, you ready to go? Can we go?" And I sent her a bunch of text messages too, but I knew her phone was dead. But I think one of the text messages I said was, "I know your phone's probably dead, but can we leave before I get raped?" And then, so I
Monica doesn't give a shit.
Monica doesn't care. I knew your phone was dead.
Monica,
the whole
you're
time.
so heartless.
Really? Just
Because she
hit
was
it and
charging
quit
me in
it
my
and
car,
quit
and
it.
it was 20% and all this stuff, but it was a last effort. And then she's like, "All right, well, totally, yeah, give me 5 minutes," and I'm like, "All right, cool." And then 15 minutes later, they come upstairs, and this girl finally goes to bed. Like, she just goes in her, she's hammered and probably blacked out. Hopefully, doesn't remember anything. And Monica comes up, and she's like, "Hey, sorry, we fell asleep." And I was like, "Oh, do you usually whisper 'you're so tight' in your sleep?" And Monica, just this biggest smirk is coming across her face, and she's like, and so they're like, "Where's the other?" And then she went to sleep, and she's like, "Oh, did you?" And I was like, "No."
no.
Absolutely not.
And then there's a mess. There's like beer everywhere and wine and stuff, and we the
Wine
other girl
for the
is
older
like-
ladies.
So Monica and her
Chardonnay.
lady are like, Monica's like, we should drive her back to her place because she's like, I got my kid over there.
Oh shit!
And, her 12-year-old
got a kid out.
12-year-old kid is at her house.
Oh my god!
So we drive her back, and then we go back to the hotel, and we have many laughs about it. The rest of the weekend is just me ripping on Monica, like just the worst jokes you can think of. Just whispering sweet nothings. And,
The best part about this is,
but Monica I give her credit. She was game. She was laughing though. Like she didn't get, "Oh, fuck you," Like
best
she was
part-
like, "I know, I'm an idiot."
The best part about this story is, just by the way you're describing this, I know exactly who it is.
That's funny.
Like that's the
Really?
funny. Yeah, I think I know exactly who it is. We'll
I
discuss it
don't.
after the podcast.
I know. I want to know.
I know who it is. I'm gonna guess it after the podcast, but not for the listener. Oh man.
man.
Looks like you guys are gonna have to go to the third super secret stand-up show to check it out.
Oh.
If you're ever
Secret
at
plug.
a show,
We'll gladly tell you who it is, and then you can post it on Facebook on your own podcast. I'm just like-
no, just look for the aggressive Monica-like person playing that character. I don't know. hitting on an older woman. It's probably her. Whatever. So that was a fun story.
Dude, that's just so. Oh my! I just.
It's ridiculous.
That's hilarious.
I've never really had a woman approach me off stage. It's happened to me one time, and it was just awkward because they're just like, "Do you have a girlfriend?" And I'm like, "Yep," and then I just walked away because I just felt so weird about it.
I love StarCraft.
like,
oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
We're good.
You guys play Pokemon Red? Okay, I'll see you later. I just walked away. I'm like, I don't like, and I can't imagine being in that situation because I would not know what to do. I would probably, like, this is of course saying if I wasn't dating anyone and I was in your shoes, I would have just made out with them as much as I could and tried to stop it to like avoid talking and awkward, and then just been like, "Get out of here, Monica! Monica, come over here!"
I
was really close to saying the name
This
I
is
thought
the
it was.
thing is like I thought that Monica would realize that I wasn't wanting to be there as much. I think she didn't realize it till afterwards, and we were talking, and I was very not comfortable. But I think Monica was like, "We're hooking both of us up," and I was like, "Not really."
You're not helping me at
No,
all.
this is not
You're
really-
not doing
this
it
is
for
not
me,
fun.
Monica.
And then, and so I in my head I was like, I gotta stall. Monica will make this as quick as possible, and then we'll get out of here. And
Bada
it
bing,
turned
bada
out
boom. That's how Monica works.
Monica's a people pleaser, and so
dig
yeah,
that one.
way to go, Monica.
God. I don't know if I like being associated with this.
I don't know, but I think in the description of this podcast, it's going to say we talk about Monica's hit it and quit it tendencies. We always have like a thing going on to decide what to name the podcast as it goes along. And the two names that I like so far of the podcast are I Hear Humping and The Slow Chase.
Slow chase.
Yeah, which I like.
Hear Humping.
I hear
I
humping.
hear
That's
humping.
funny.
Okay, those are top candidates.
I hear some humping.
Yeah.
And then you had one more
Okay.
you wanted to share.
Look,
I like this.
This is the story. This is a story I tell on a lot of podcasts because it's a funny story, and it's the first time I was on the road, by myself. Booked all those shows myself, and I was in Indianapolis, Indiana, at Morty's Comedy Joint, and I was staying at a hotel all week, and everything is going great, and I had to be in Kansas Wednesday. So Sunday, Monday, I was just hanging out doing nothing, and then I decided Tuesday would be the day I drove all day because it was 12 hours driving. And they have a condo that you can stay at, and you just get there the day before. So all weekend I'm hitting on a waitress, a couple of them because, you play your chances, and then
It's really a numbers game.
really a
here.
numbers game. I know where I'm at. I know that not everyone is interested in 12-year-old boys, Scandinavian things. Really, an older
12-year-old
woman type of
Scandinavian
thing.
boys.
12-year-old Scandinavian boys.
Gonna go for
So-
those 45-year-old women.
Yeah. So,
You remind me of my son that's at home right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
We got to go get
We're
him.
ending to speed
we
this
gotta
up.
hurry this up. So one of these girls was being really nice, and she was really, really attractive, and I had no confidence. That's a theme. No confidence, and I thought we were just hanging out, and so we go out to a bar, and she's like, "Do you want to drive, or should I drive?" And I was like, "Well, if I'm going to drink, I probably shouldn't drive. How about you drive?" And she's like, "Okay." Little did I know, she just meant I'll drive drunk. That's fine. And we go to this bar, and we're hanging out, and it's cool. We're like just she takes me out to eat at this place. It's a cool.
Ooh, I like that.
It's really. It's like a. It's like a Cajun restaurant, and I go there every time. I'm in
What did you
Indianapolis.
get?
Oh,
I don't know.
wait, what's it called?
Yats.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I've totally been there. Mitch
guys
and I
have
went
eaten
when we
there?
were in
Yeah.
Indianapolis. Yeah, we'll go there.
It's amazing. It's the best food ever.
I'm so excited.
It's really good
It was
food.
really- yeah.
And they get
Cajun.
extra bread. When you don't have to tell you.
I'm going to need bread.
The
Was that a
bread's
fat
amazing.
joke?
So we go to Yats, yes. And
I'm going to edit that out.
I'm like, oh,
Edit it out.
it's fine.
Just bleep that.
So
He
yeah.
swore terrible things for some like little
Can't
sense.
believe he said that. So we go there, and then we go out to drink, and then we're having drinks, and I'm like, this is fun, and we're like genuinely having fun talking, and I'm like, it's almost like no pressure on me. I'm being myself because I don't think I'm gonna get laid anyway, so I'm just nothing to lose.
It's like you're actually connecting with a person.
yeah, it's weird how that
nice.
happens. So then
What is this?
she drives me back to the comedy. I'm staying at the owner of the comedy club's house, and he's a cool guy. And because he's like, oh, after your hotel, just come stay here for a couple days. And now, whenever I'm there, that's not it's important. So, I was
Stay
gonna
on
say,
target.
well, this kind of spoils it, but so we go into his house, and she just opens his freezer and grabs a bottle of tequila and starts pouring shots. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is a good idea. But I'm already a little drunk, so I'm like, yeah, whatever. Let's make it happen. And then and I was like telling her about some video or something I had to tell her. And I was like, oh, let me show you the thing. I like pull out my computer, and I'm like showing her all these videos, and we're having a good time. And I don't know how it happened. We just started making out and like get naked, start banging. And it's good. It's a long. I got Monica
sounded like
stamina
humping.
going on. When I'm drunk,
Monica level stamina.
It's pretty, it numbs all the feelings. So it just takes a while longer.
All of the feelings.
All of the
All
feelings.
of the feelings.
And so after a while, I'm sobering up, and I'm kind of like, you should probably go. Like, we're in the comedy club owner's house. You're a waitress. So that's against the rules. That's like the number one rule at any comedy club: don't bang the wait staff.
That is the number one rule at comedy clubs?
Well, yeah, in general.
But it was after the weekend. though?
yes, but this is what it is. Is like here's the explanation as it's told to me is like 99 times out of 100, it's not going to end well.
Right.
People have feelings no matter what they say.
I hope this
and
ends really well like a romantic comedy.
It does.
They get married.
We
at the
sing in Times Square and.
And she's here right now. Fourth mic.
So So, because then things don't end well, and then you're not allowed back at the club because you pissed off their employees or whatever. And then it's awkward, and then it's weird, and then they just are like, well, we can't have you back anymore. So they're always going to side with their staff because a comic is easier to replace than a waitress. Well, probably not, but they like the waitress more than me at this point. So I'm realizing like this is a mistake. Probably you should go. And she's like, "What is wrong with you?" And I'm like, "It's not." She's like, "I didn't know that was a rule." And I was like, you got to go." And she's like, "I can't believe you're kicking me out." And I'm like, "All right." So then she leaves. And
all right,
it's like
I can't believe
4
this
in
is
the
happening.
morning.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's great.
I'm speeding up.
You don't need
So
to speed up. You take your time, boo boo.
She
That's
leaves.
what she said.
Romance the story like you romance
Monica's
that lady.
putting more clothes on right now. It's really
As the
warming
story
her up.
goes
I'm putting less clothes on.
It's interesting dynamic.
And here goes
So
my shirt.
she's like covering up. She's just been uncomfortable. And it's Monica again, the whole story.
Monica's the one banging
Monica's
this lady.
the one banging the waitress. And it's Monica.
Number one rule of comedy, Monica, and then you broke
Let me
it.
tell you, Monica. So we go. So she leaves, and she calls me from the driveway because as she's leaving to her car, the comedy club owner pulls up in his driveway and sees her. And she's like, "He just saw me walking out. You're an idiot." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm fucked. I think he's going to come up and beat me up and then kick me out of his house." And I'm like,
But this is at 4 in the morning,
yeah.
and
so
he was just getting
He's
home?
getting home,
Okay.
yeah. And then nothing happens. He's totally cool. Like, nothing.
He's like, "Oh, hey."
He doesn't say, like, my room is, like, upstairs in, like, a loft. And so, like, I'm like, he goes to bed. Nothing happens. He doesn't even see me. And so the next morning, I'm kind of waiting for him to, like, leave. But he doesn't. He just stays on his couch. And it's, like, right by the front door. So I can't just sneak out or anything and leave a note. I, like, make my bed perfectly. I'm making everything nice. Like, you know, not giving him any reasons to hate me. And I'm like, it's like noon. And I'm like, I have a 12-hour drive. I have to leave now. And so I walked downstairs. I got all my bags packed. I'm like, "Hey, man, I had a great time. Appreciate it." Then thinking, "Just be quick and I'll get out of here. I know what I did." And, and he goes, "Oh, hey." He's like talking to me about comedy and like some other stuff. And we just talked for like 20 minutes. Doesn't even bring up the girl. Doesn't even bring up anything. And I'm like, "All right, well, I got to get going." I'm like thinking I'm in the clear. You know, he forgot about it or he didn't realize what happened. And then as I'm like leaving, he goes, "Oh, hey, did you hook up with Desiree last night?" And I was like, "Oh, no, I would never do that. You know, I know the rules and stuff." And no, I just was showing her some stuff and we drank too much. So
Like
I
my
thought-
penis.
dick.
And, my dick. We, I just want to repeat the joke. So, I'm like, we were drunk and I didn't want her to drive home, so we just chilled out for it. And he's like, "Oh, she's hot. You should try and bang her next time." And I was like, "Well, I don't know. You know, I don't." And he's like, "She seemed like she was into you all weekend." And I was like, I know it's like against the rules and stuff." And he's like, "I don't care about that." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I'm a comic too." Like,
He's like, matchmaker,
No.
matchmaker, make me a match.
that's the thing is like, I'm like, he is,
not.
that's every time I'm there, he like will go out to a bar and he'll be like, "Hey, come talk to this random girl." And he'll be like, "This is Andrew." And then he'll leave. And I'm like, I don't know.
really
Godfather.
He thinks it's the
Fairy wingman.
and then I'll walk away and he'll be like, "Why? That girl would totally bang it." I'm like, I don't want to sleep with her. And he's like, "I just, I'm disappointed. I'm not mad. I put you in the position to score and you took a kneel on the 1 yard line." And, but that's his whole thing is he's like, "Yeah, come fuck all the waitresses." He's like, "We love it." He's
Come
like,
to Indianapolis. Fuck
he's
all
like
the
living
waitresses.
vicariously through
That's how he
everybody.
books you now.
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
"Hey, do you have a weekend
It's
available to come
literally-
fuck all the
yeah,
waitresses?"
literally,
I look for comics that are the most
literally, that's not
bonable.
even a joke. He goes, "We're more likely to rebook you if you hang out and chill with all the people. Like any comic can come in here and kill and then go back to their hotel room. We want comics that are gonna hang out with us and be our
And
friends,
bone each other.
Yeah." And I'm like, he goes, this is the exact quote. He goes, "I'm more likely to bring you back if you hook up with Desiree next time." And I'm like, "Well, I hooked up with her last night." And he goes, "Good job." Yeah. And I was like waiting for him to be like, "Banned, I tricked you," like, whatever. Yeah. And
You
he's
lied
like,
to me.
"Yeah, you lied." And he's like, "That's awesome. She's hot. Way to go." And I'm like,
High fives all around.
Yeah, and I'm like,
And then you guys shared some orange slices and Capri Suns, and you got the fuck out of there.
Showed him my
and
dick.
now, like, whenever I'm in town or driving, even in the Midwest, like, I'll just stay at his house for like a month in a row, and like, I'll go out Friday,
Fuck all the
Saturday, Sunday.
waitresses?
No, they're not. None of them are cute anymore. But that
Where's
girl,
Desiree?
Yeah, she's around. She moved to LA for a while, and then
And then you guys were married. And
no,
then, you got divorced.
she moved back.
She wanted
and
the
then
kids.
Mike
so-
only believes
I
in
don't
true
know.
love, so.
It's true.
I don't know what's going on with Desiree. She's
Hey,
got some
Desiree,
issues.
could you email the podcast at huglifepodcast@gmail.com? That'd be great. Thank you.
Just let us know what's going on with you.
I don't think she has access to
We're
the
worried.
internet right now.
She doesn't have access to the internet
I
right
think
now.
last
She in
time I
jail.
was out there, I think she was homeless.
You guys
or
here in
something.
Los
And
Angeles?
She was. It's very weird.
Wow,
Facebook
this took a
update.
very
Dude,
weird
holy
turn. This took a really weird
You
turn.
ruined her life.
Yeah, no, I did not. She got arrested. This is a,
She should
That
stand up-
night for driving drunk.
Yeah,
How
no.
could she be homeless? Everyone's staying at that guy's house.
I know, right?
Get it?
Yeah. I've seen her since then every once in a while, but the last time I was out there, I was like, "Hey, I'm in town. What do you like?" I wasn't. She got a little not as cute, and I fell on a hard time. And
Homelessness is really taking its toll on your face. there.
Jeez.
well, like one time I went and she had a boyfriend, and then the
Maybe you
next
should
time
find a roof.
she like gained some weight, and then the last time I think she was homeless, and I don't know what's going on, but it's
It's
not
just
important.
really going downhill. Sorry, Desiree.
So this
Sorry,
had a
why
happy
did I use
ending.
her name? Her name's Monica, and so yeah, that's the other road story. So that's Bowers. If you ever go to Indianapolis and hang with Bowers,
Bowers.
we'll just
He'll just
ask
try
him to
to
tell
make
the
it-
story, and he'll be
he'll just-
like, "This is the greatest story
He'll
of
just
all
try to
time."
get you to bone people.
He just loves it.
Like,
Come work here and fuck all the waitresses.
Yeah.
That's
come on,
hilarious.
if you're not
Like-
sleeping with one of us,
like-
we don't want you back.
Monica, yeah.
You
Monica.
could just get off stage and be like, I had a really good set, but I haven't fucked anybody
Yeah,
yet,
it's
so I
really
really got to
rough
get it together.
weekend for me. I gotta figure this shit out.
You're not going to be allowed back, Mike. Monica from the previous story, Monica would be his best friend. Because Bowers would hook him up with like an 80-year-old woman, and he'd be like, "Yeah, this is awesome."
I'm into slow chases, so
Yeah.
this is great.
Well, that's great.
It's a
Thank
good
you for
story.
telling it. I like it when people come on here and tell stories.
Sure.
I really enjoy it.
I got a million stories.
We don't have time to do the next segment, which is fine. We'll save it for next time. But we're gonna do the quiz now. Monica.
What was the next
Yes.
segment?
The next segment was to talk about make a positive spin, which is kind of what we're doing with new stuff. We're talking positive things. Is airports. I wanted to see if we could make airports positive,
Oh,
but we don't have a lot of time.
okay.
So we're gonna do the quiz.
Sorry, Monica took up so long.
Dude, Monica just wouldn't. Monica
would not quit.
She just would not get.
Just
She
keep
just
going at it.
She doesn't stop. She's just like, it's so dark. You're so
fell
tight.
asleep.
Really?
I fell asleep. I'm so sorry.
That's great.
All right. So I was trying to find a good quiz for you, Andrew.
Okay.
But
You said you gave my perfect quiz to someone
I
else.
gave the which '90s rap icon quiz to I believe that was David Leon, right?
I'm offended.
I think so.
Yeah, I don't remember.
It was.
But
But
a lot
I-
of your podcast guests aren't that memorable.
but you're a
I
childhood.
feel like mine's going to be remembered.
You're a child.
forever.
You're
Good story.
Because Monica's asking me to delete it probably later.
you're a child of the '90s, correct?
I guess.
Because we're gonna do another musical one. Which '90s pop idol are you? That's the
Okay.
quiz, and I've already taken it, and I'm really excited with what answer I got. So we're gonna just
Can I know what the answers are beforehand and
Oh,
try
yeah,
and write down my guess of
You,
who I'll get picked on?
you're gonna tell me your answers to what?
No, he's saying like what the.
Well, I
I'm gonna
mean, what are the
end
final
Results.
answers? What are the
I don't know.
possibilities?
I
We
don't
don't
know,
know
what the
all the
possibilities are. We don't know all of them.
possibilities.
I know the one I got.
There's just
and
so many
that's it.
possibilities
Okay.
when it comes to
But you're
90s
gonna-
pop
the
idols.
first question
Let's
is to
go.
pick a '90s fad, and you got to pick between Pogs, those little discs.
Yeah, I got to
you
know
sit
what
on,
the pogs are.
Koosh balls, the little weird Koosh balls, inflatable furniture, Tamagotchis, Beanie Babies, Snap bracelets, Furbies, some sort of patterned sticker thing. I don't even know what that
That's
is.
fine.
And then what's that? Is that like an underwater disposable camera?
Do your
It's
research
like-
on these.
That's a pager.
It's a pager. It's a pager.
It's
I
a
have no
beeper.
idea. It looks like- what do you pick out
I
of
had a
those?
Furby one time, so I'll go with Furby.
Furby?
That's
What
the
do-
only
what do
thing
you
out of
pick,
those. I
I
Monica?
say
can-
Beanie Babies. Like
You
I
think
had
of
a
Beanie
lot
Babies?
of Beanie Babies.
I believe I chose the
Although I
Tamagotchi.
had most of those things.
I chose the Tamagotchi for sure. And now your next question is choose a cartoon character. We have Angelica from Rugrats. We have, I believe that's Daria from the show Daria.
That's not Daria.
That's Daria. It's totally Daria.
Didn't she have glasses?
Yeah.
But
Daria
it does
was.
say
Gee,
MTV. Maybe
that's-
she's
It
in
was
that
from
show.
that show. I think
Yeah.
it was a
We have
different lady.
Pikachu. We have Storm.
Yeah, whatever.
We have Bart from The Simpsons. We have Sailor Moon. We have Stan from South Park. We have the Powerpuff Girls. And then we have Rocco from Rocco's Modern Life. And I chose Storm from X-Men. Who did you?
Angelica.
Angelica?
She was a badass.
That's
Who are
what-
you choosing?
I'll go with Rocco.
You're going Rocco?
She was a badass.
Which-
By badass, you mean bitch.
I like that. I like
Which-
saucy ladies.
Ooh. Which snack do you want? Gushers, French Toast Crunch, Fruit by the Foot, Kid Cuisine, Lunchables Pizza, Altoids, Dunkaroos. What is that?
Fruit by the Foot.
Bubble Beeper and Magic Cookies of some kind.
Fruit by the Foot.
Fruit by the Foot. I actually chose that as well.
I'm going to go with Gushers. I
Gushers?
used to eat a lot of Gushers.
Now, pick a drink.
Oh,
Surge
shit.
Cola,
Oh
High C, Juice Box, Josta? Is that just Josta? I don't know. Never know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know. What that is.
Fruitopia, Squeeze-Its, Zima, Clearly Canadian, Orbit, or Crystal Pepsi.
Surge. I had a Surge alarm
Surge.
clock.
You did?
What?
It would go Surge.
It's awesome.
I
I'm
won
going
it in.
Squeeze-Its.
I won it.
I went with Squeeze-Its too.
in. Is that high school? Actually, I don't remember. It was high school. I think
Surge.
some class. I don't know what happened. They were giving prizes. I won something, and
Nice.
and that was the best prizes. So I was like, "This is the dumbest thing."
Surge.
I never used it, but I was like, "It's cool."
Pick a TV show. The
Secret World of Alex Mack.
You did?
I had the biggest crush on her.
Really?
Secret World of Alex Mack. I'm going to give you the options. Martin, Friends, Clarissa Explains It All, Seinfeld, Living Single, Boy Meets World, Dawson's Creek, or Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh my
And you choose Alex Mack. I chose Boy Meets World.
I'm going to go Fresh Prince just because
It's Boy Meets World.
definitely true. However,
Walking
I
down
am
this
now
road
a huge Dawson's Creek
That
fan.
we call life. Just
They
recently?
don't have. Oh my God, Hanging with Mr. Cooper. I used to wake up at 4 a.m. so that I could watch the reruns. Isn't that weird?
Really? You're now getting into Dawson's Creek? Just now? You said?
No, I've watched it before, but I am, as an adult, a big Dawson's Creek fan.
Which fashion trends do you like? Suspenders? Hypercolor
Suspenders,
shirts?
those are overalls.
Overalls? There you go.
I don't,
Weird necklace thing? What are those? It'd be really nice if they told you what they were.
Those are the little stretchy necklaces.
a
that you
weird
wear. I
hat
have
that people in ska bands would wear.
This is a bucket hat.
A bucket hat. There you go. Frosted tips, scrunchies, midriff shirts, platform high heely shoes, and then just the band TLC. I think it's TLC.
TLC for sure.
TLC. I chose
I had a
Frosted
crush on
tips.
Left Eye for a while.
Ooh, who didn't?
Saucy lady.
First of all, that's Destiny's Child.
Oh, really?
There's 4 of them. There's only 3 in TLC. And that is Destiny's
I've had a
Child when they
crush
had
on all the
4.
members
This
of
is when,
Destiny's
like,
Child, and so
I thought
it's-
Destiny's
that
Child.
also
What's funny
applies.
is I thought Destiny's Child had 3 and TLC had 4.
they
but I
had
just
3
switched it up.
after. This
They
is like
kicked out a
young
couple of
Destiny's
ladies.
Child. They kicked out 2.
Oh.
So that's Beyonce right there, and that's Kelly Rowland. And those 2 got
Monica
kicked
was a
out,
member of Destiny's
and then
Child.
Michelle comes in.
Oh shit! Destiny's Child historian Monica Nevi on the
Oh,
podcast.
why I didn't want that one.
What I chose Frosted Tips. What did you choose, Monica?
I want the little necklaces, the stretchy necklaces.
Which scent makes you feel most nostalgic? Those tiny erasers, fresh Play-Doh, McDonald's, box of crayons, a swimming pool chlorine, VHS tapes, bubblegum, fresh mowed lawn, or number 2 pencils?
I
chose VHS tapes.
I still smell half of these things.
I do
at
too.
work.
McDonald's, you still smell. I mean, what's up with that?
Fuck you. I guess I'm going with crayons.
I never had like a lot of McDonald's until I was older.
That was like our
Did you go swimming a lot when you were a kid?
You know what? This is
Yeah.
the thing. McDonald's used to be like a treat. Like now everybody like it's
That's every
shitty
day.
and
It's
every
like
day or
every
whatever,
day, yeah.
right? It was like, oh, you're going with grandma today. You guys get to go to McDonald's. Yeah, I had a birthday party at McDonald's once.
Dude, I did
like
too.
now
The
that's
birthday
like
parties,
right.
Stack the boxes.
Yeah,
the play
you get the
places were the
crown.
shit as
Hell
a kid.
yeah! Now it's like
Little shoe
shitty.
cubbies. It was awesome.
Little shoe cubbies. That's what you remember.
I loved putting my shoes in a cubby.
Yeah.
What do you choose?
Oh
Andy?
my god!
Chlorine.
Chlorine.
Yeah.
Yes, this is perfect.
All right, Monica. Who did you get?
Hanson.
Really?
Yes.
Could you
Fuck
read? Could
yes.
you read the?
You're cheerful, optimistic, and energetic. Well, this might be wrong, but family is very important to you, and you probably have incredibly beautiful hair.
You know what's funny, Monica?
What's up?
I also got Hanson,
Yay!
which describes me better.
It does.
That is.
Except for the
better.
beautiful hair part.
Oh, why? It just looks all gross right now. Why did you have to hurt me so much?
Like how pleased he is with your sadness. He's like,
That's how
uh-huh.
Andrew feeds off of it.
I'm Angelica.
Andrew, who did you think you got?
I don't know. You didn't tell
You
me
had
any
to
of the
guess.
options.
Guess a '90s icon.
Pop idol.
Your mom.
Wow, you know Jackie listens to this podcast.
I hope so.
Yes.
I got you, Jackie. I got you, babe.
Oh, geez.
Jackie, I'm so sorry for Andrew.
Andrew
Jackie,
likes
if Monica
dark
from the
hair.
previous story
Oh, God.
Oh, this is going terrible. I'm going to turn the recorder off. I'm going to start crying. First, my hair's not beautiful, and now you're doing this.
What did Andrew get? I want to know.
You got Destiny's Child.
Oh, man. I'm so jealous. Let's switch.
But this is kind of good. You're strong-willed and independent. I would say that's true.
Independent
And you
woman.
won't settle for anything but the best in life. He sleeps
Yeah.
in his car.
Yeah.
You have a very high expectations for other people. But when you find someone who meets your standards, you love them with all your heart, just like Desiree. Full circle.
You would totally bone Jay-Z.
Oh my gosh, we
Yeah.
got here.
You
You
would.
would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, this is
I
an
hope
old-
Jay-Z could give me a baby, and then my baby could rap, and then I'd be a millionaire after that.
What would you name your baby with Jay-Z?
That's a terrible plan. If it's a
Bazy.
Blue Ivy, they really missed a good opportunity there.
Hey, Jay-Z is here.
Jay-Z. That's it's a nice little combination of Beyonce and
Z.
Jay-Z.
Oh,
All right,
God.
Monica, what's the charity for the week?
Nope, we don't have one.
We
Thanks
don't
for
have one?
asking.
And donate to
Fucking
my
ruined
bank
it.
account.
Tonight I'm doing that show. That's
Oh,
a
yeah,
fundraiser
that's a
for
charity.
the YMCA summer programs at the
Everyone
Comedy
should go to
Underground.
the show that Monica's on tonight. If you're listening to this in the morning on your drive or your work, you should do it. Just do it.
All right. Do you have a charity or organization that you normally like
I
support or
have
you really like or something?
Contributed
Contributed multiple times.
World Vision. My dad has done a bunch of stuff through them, and he's taken several trips to Africa and other places, and Bangladesh. And I used to have jokes about it and talk about if you want to help poor kids, I live 30 minutes away, But so they've done a bunch of stuff through them, and I adopted a kid for a while until I ran out of money. But
Sounds so terrible.
I used him for a bit. I don't remember any of the jokes anymore, but
Yeah,
I used to go
you should make sure how you say a bit, because it sounds like you said you used them for a little bit, like
Yeah.
time instead
No,
of a
I
joke.
I adopted a child and used him for a little bit.
and then I
You
let
mean
him
like
go.
you were sponsoring a child?
Yeah.
Like you're
You
sending
sponsor-
him money?
You send him a coffee cup.
You didn't actually adopt the
It sounded like
child.
you said I was using a child for a little bit and then I ran out of money. That
Yeah.
sounds so terrible on the other way of saying it.
People know what I mean, I think.
I don't think so.
Okay.
We clarified.
Well, you send money. What's the old joke I used to? For less than a cup of coffee a day, unless you live in Seattle, you can sponsor a child. Thank you for not laughing at those jokes. It's fine. So you send a couple
It's
bucks.
like your delivery for just you were like that was like young Andrew Rivers.
Yeah.
You're going into a character.
So yeah, you send a couple bucks a week or a month. I forget how it is, but and then they use it to get stuff, and then everything's good. And
They can see. And
Really
it's good.
think
and then they
you,
write you letters, and it's cool.
Uh-huh.
I did it for about a year, and then
And then you became a road comic.
Yeah, right. Then I started sleeping in my car.
yeah, and then I was like, I know what it's like.
to do that.
No,
Do
I
you?
didn't.
Yeah.
I was like, we totally relate. It's
I was
tough
really
out
hoping I
here.
was going to say, what's your favorite charity? And you were going to say Desiree.
Really into homeless shelters now.
Thank you so much for being on the podcast, Andrew.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
No, thank you.
You're
Thank
great.
you for doing the Super Secret stand-up show.
Hey, that was
Yes.
great. Everybody
great.
go to see the Super Secret stand-up show.
Oh, yeah. The
Thank
next
Is
you.
one.
Monica on the next one?
She is on the next one. She's actually performing, and I will
Not
be
gonna
hosting
host.
it. I will be
Thank God.
hosting it.
Is the
so-
other Monica on it?
I don't know. Oh, I got to guess that after the podcast.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the podcast to end so I can guess it. We'll just be.
I thought I told you before, maybe.
I think you probably did, but that's probably why I feel like I know, because I
Okay.
do know subconsciously. I don't
Okay.
know.
Okay.
We'll
figure it out.
All right. Hey, do you
Well,
guys
when-
hear humping?
We